the weekly trail report, presented by the Outdoor Club of Port Jervis.
Hi, I am Ravi Torn, and I am the Outdoor Club Director of Activities. Each week, we bring you information on trail conditions, events, and activities. Here is Teresa.
Hello, everyone. Teresa here, Secretary of the Outdoor Club of Port Jervis. Joining me is my good friend and fellow club member, Valerie, here to tell you about the club's upcoming activities and events. Hi, Valerie.
Hey, Teresa. How are you doing?
Very well.
Okay, Teresa. So first off, we have We Dig Wednesdays. They're back with Adam Hubbard. We'll be joining him every Wednesday from 5 to 8 p.m. for an intense workout. Save your gym expenses, as crew chief Adam Hubbard will give you a real workout building the newest trails in the Watershed trail system. But no matter your abilities, all help is welcome, as there is something for everyone. For more information on this, visit ocopj.org.
The trails get clean, we get dirty. On Saturday, April 6th at 8 a.m., Elks Brock's parking lot number 2. We'll be removing tree debris and leaves from the trails. Please bring gloves, rakes, and loppers.
Okay, next up we have on Saturday, April 6th, Beginner's Hike with Chip, 1 p.m., Brewers Reservoir, parking lots 4 and 5. Chip will guide you on an easy hike for beginners and those of you getting out after a long winter. Chip is entertaining for his stories, character imitations, and his billboard postings. I'm sure he'll explain.
Follow Ravi on the North Hike on Sunday, April 7th at 1 p.m. You meet at the old caretaker's house, 220 Academy Avenue in Sparrowbush. This is considered to be a moderate hike, approximately 4 miles long, lasting 2 hours.
On Sunday, April 7th at 2 p.m., meet Ben Cheek for a guided bike ride. Meet at the Elks Brock's parking lot number 2.
For more info, visit our website at ocopj.org.
And join us next week with more events and activities of the Outdoor Club.
Thank you, Valerie. Currently, conditions on the trails are generally dry, but susceptible to spring weather.
Hey everybody, Chip here with this week's segment, Chip Here, Chip Gear. This week we're going to discuss the importance of proper footwear while hiking the Watershed Trail System. Today I brought some samples with me. His name is Ravi Torn, the Director of Activities. He's sitting right here next to me, everybody. Hey Ravi, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm great. So we're going to discuss proper footwear today, Ravi, and what I brought are some samples of what not to bring and wear while hiking the Watershed Park system, and what we should be wearing. Okay, is that all right, Ravi?
It's always all right.
Okay, so the first item I've brought today is this, everybody. This right here. This is the cursed flip-flop. You do not want to show up on a hike with a flip-flop. The Watershed trails are not designed for flip-flops. It is not a beach. There's no sand. It's a natural trail. No flip-flops. Very dangerous. Don't come out for a hike with a flip-flop. Right, Ravi?
That's right. It's a no-no.
That's a no-no. You got it. Second item I have for you folks is this right here. This thing. What is this? It looks like a gondola. The women like to wear this, but they can't wear this for a hike in the Watershed Park trail system. Why, Ravi? Why can't they wear this?
There's no support.
That's right. There's no support. There's no ankle support. There's nothing involved supporting this shoe right here that you can hike with. So this is a bad, bad option. Next, everybody, I have this option, a sneaker. That's right, a sneaker. I know what you're thinking. You're saying sneaker. We can wear sneakers. Sure you can, but some sneakers you just cannot wear, and this is one of them. Look at this. There's no support, Nothing for your ankle. It's just a bad option sneaker to have. Now, there are sneakers out there that are very solid and can support your ankle. And if you shop around and you find those, they're durable and they offer ankle support, then you'll be okay with that. But this sneaker option right here, Robbie, what do you think?
I don't think that's a good idea either.
All right, this is not a Robbie-approved sneaker, so that's out. So, Robbie, today what I did bring were those items or footwear items that I think are going to be approved by the viewers and us as well. So, the first one that I have here, Robbie, is this boot right here. This boot offers durability and ankle support. Very strong for your ankle. You lace it up and you are supported on the track, single track trails that you're going to hike on. This is a water resistant boot, Robbie. And what that means is you can get it wet, but eventually your feet will get wet as well. But this boot right here, very acceptable model for hiking the single track trails in the Watershed. Right, Robbie?
It looks like it.
Absolutely. This is what you want to wear if you're going to go out hiking. It gives you the ankle support and the durability. Look at that. Gives you traction as well under there. Right, Robbie? You want to have some traction when you're hiking.
You always want to have traction out there.
That's right. Traction's good. So this model boot is very good model. So next, Robbie, the next option I have for everybody, right here, Robbie, this boot is a waterproof option. Totally waterproof. Now, this happens to be my boot, and I've tried this on the Watershed Park Trail system, and I've had it submerged in water, and my feet were totally dry, Robbie. Totally dry. What do you think about that?
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing to have dry feet when you're hiking, right? Now, this boot is got the ankle support and the durability you need to hike those single track trails in the Watershed Park system. And when I say natural trails, I mean that you're going to be hiking on hand-dug natural trails, encountering a lot of rockiness and earthiness, and you need ankle support for stability out there with your footwear. Is that correct, Robbie?
A lot of ankle support.
A lot of ankle support. That's right, Robbie. Why do we need that ankle support, Robbie?
It's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, all right. But hey, Robbie, this is my boot. Do you smell something funky? It's just not right. Let me. Oh, hey, Robbie, it's my summer sausage.
How long have you had that in there?
I was looking for my summer sausage, and there it is in my boot. This is going to be extra flavorful for my hike later on today. I can tell you that, Robbie. Would you like some of this summer sausage later, Robbie?
I don't think so, Chip.
Why not?
I don't think. How long has it been in there?
Robbie, I got to tell you, when you have it, the flavor from your boot on your summer sausage, it's just like being smoked in a smoker. It's extra great to eat. I'm telling you, you're going to want to try a piece, Robbie. Anyways, everybody, that is today's segment with Chip Here, Chip Gear. Remember, single track trail hiking requires proper footwear, durability for your ankle, and sustainability. Traction is important as well. So go out there and find the proper footwear, and you'll be safe. Thank you, everybody. Look for next week's segment, Chip Here, Chip Gear. And thank you, Robbie, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
The Upfront Gallery is the region's premier art gallery. Owners Debbie and Gordon showcase local and regional talent with galas and exhibitions throughout the year. At Upfront Gallery, there's always something going on. From paintings to photographs, sculptures, and more, the Upfront Gallery is the place to see and be seen. Upfront Gallery also hosts private events and cocktail parties. Book your next event with Debbie today. Give her a call, 845-754-5000. You'll love her. She's exactly what Upfront is all about. The Upfront Gallery, 31 Jersey Avenue, Port Jervis. Joining me now is Deer Park co-historian Lynn Burns. Hey, Lynn, how are you?
Hi, Tom. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have you here. I live in the town of Deer Park, and I really enjoy the history that's all around us here. So to have you here to talk a little bit about history of the region is something I've been looking forward to. So let's get into it, right?
Okay, let's get into it.
All right. Now, Lynn, tell us a little bit about your duties as co-historian in the town of Deer Park.
Well, actually, Norma Schatt and I, co-historian in the town of Deer Park, We archive records, we do research, we try to help out a little bit with genealogy. We archive photographs, news articles, just anything that we see with the town of Deer Park, we grab and try to archive into our files.
And there's a great deal of history here in our region,
Yes,
isn't there?
there is.
Now, in the town of Deer Park, there is a building full of history. And tell us a little bit about the schoolhouse up in Huguenot.
Well, the historian's office is in our 1863 one-room red brick schoolhouse, and it's on the National Historic Place.
So there's a one-room schoolhouse still remaining in the town of Deer Park.
Yes, on 25 Grange Road, and you go in and it's a replica of a one-room schoolhouse.
You know, our club president, Mike Ward, I believe he went to a one-room schoolhouse when he went to elementary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're going to talk to him about that after this. Maybe he can go out to Huguenot and remember the days
I hope
he was
he does.
in first
I'd love
grade.
a visit.
But there's a one-room schoolhouse still standing in Deer Park. That's
Yes,
pretty cool.
Yes. And you come in, and we'll give you a tour. We like to talk about the experience of what it was like being in a one-room schoolhouse. It was quite different from what kids experience today.
Now, there are desks there?
Yes, there's desks, and there's old black slate chalkboards. And one of the most fun things for kids to do when they come in is to write on the blackboards with actual chalk.
Wow.
And an actual eraser. So, and that we have an old-fashioned typewriter, which is another thing. Between the blackboards and the typewriter, that's where you'll find the kids when they come to visit the schoolhouse.
When can they come to the schoolhouse?
We're there from 10 o'clock to 3 on Tuesdays, and on Saturday morning from 10 to 12. But you give us a call, and we'll come in anytime and give you a tour.
What's the phone number?
856-2702, or you can call me at my home at 856-4515.
We're going to share that on our website so people can go out and actually touch history right here in the town of Deer
Absolutely.
Park. But you're here, one of the other roles as co-historian is you're also a publisher every month, aren't you?
No, quarterly.
Oh, quarterly.
Yes.
Okay. And quarterly, as I turn away, you print this publication here called the Deer Park Diary.
Yes, that's right.
So quarterly, that means it comes out once every 3 months, right?
Yes.
See, I'm good with that, huh? And this is the last edition. This came out in March of 2019, and this was a very special one. As soon as I got this in the mail, I was excited because this is right all about what we're talking about here in our outdoor club. And this is a story about the history of Elks Brock's Park.
Well, I really had a problem with this newsletter, and it kept changing and morphing, and all of a sudden I found all of this great information on the park. And I thought Tom Fagione would love a newsletter about the Elks Brock's Park. So
Well, I gotta
did
tell
it
you.
with you in mind, believe me.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago, and when you said that, I was red in the face because I'm like, oh my God, that is awesome. And it is so true. I mean, I've been up on the trails, and we have so many people enjoying the trails, and they see the title, Elks Brock's Park. They see that it's attached to the city of Port Jervis, but most people that I know have no clue. So let's just jump in. I don't want to give away all the secrets in the newsletter because you can pick them up all over the town of Deer Park. But let's talk a little bit tell me about the history of Elks Brock's Park.
Well, I have to agree with you. I knew nothing about the park. I just knew it was on Point Peter, and I always thought that the Brocks and Elks Brock's was incorrect. So when I really got into this, it really became quite interesting. Here you have this wonderful lookout on this spectacular valley. And the earliest newspaper article I found was 1873, and everyone at that time agreed with that. They just thought this was a wonderful lookout.
So 1873, give us a perspective of what was up at Point Peter now.
Okay. You're overlooking a valley that has, you had Mount William and you had Point Peter.
And those are the two mountains that are right next to each other right there. Point Peter today has the flagpole. And if you're standing at Point Peter, to your immediate right is Mount William.
Correct. Now, I'm sorry I didn't print it in time because I had a deadline with a newsletter, but since I have found out that Mount William was named after Wilhelmus Cole,
Wow.
and Point Peter was named after Peter Kuykendall.
Mm-hmm.
And these men owned property which was connected with the D&H Canal. Now, if you look over Point Peter, the D&H Canal skirted those two mountains, which were later called the Twin Mountains. So you're overlooking, and in 1873, you're watching canal boats going up and down the D&H Canal. And you're also looking at the old steam engines. If they weren't going over Greenville Mountain, they were going right up the valley toward Kingston. And then by 1873, there was the Port Jervis and Monticello Railroad, which in Cutterbackville took the left and went on into Monticello.
So there were railroad lines that intersected all throughout the valley.
Absolutely.
Looking down from Point Peter in the 1870s, you would see all of this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But at that time, it still wasn't called Elks Brox Park.
No. That was much later. It seems to go in spurts. There would be a lot of interest, and then it would kind of die off and lose interest. And I think it had a lot to do with whoever was a community leader at the time and who wanted to take on the challenge. So by 1880, a prominent merchant, William Bennett, he had a store right on the corner of Orange Street and Main Street. And he liked to do public works. And he wasn't a politician. He simply liked doing things for the public. And he wanted to create this road. Now, at that point, there was only a wood road. So you're talking 1873, you heated your home with wood.
Sure.
So there were just the crudest of little trails that you'd take your wagon up, or probably in the wintertime, you even had a sleigh.
So citizens can go up there and just take wood down.
If they had owner's permission.
Sure.
So anyway, he felt that they should have a regular road going up to the top so people from Port Jervis could enjoy the sights.
How about that?
So he went up as far as his property ended, and then he was trying to get others, and then the city of Port Jervis didn't want anything to do with it. Of course, in 1873, I should correct myself, there was no city of Port Jervis.
The city doesn't start until 1907.
Exactly.
But there was a village here.
Correct. And they weren't really keen on the idea of putting money into this. So private people built the road up to.
So wait a minute. You're talking about private people getting together, putting money together.
Grassroots, yes.
And actually building something in what is now the Watershed Trail System?
Exactly.
Exactly. Sounds kind of like what the Outdoor Club is doing now.
Well, yes, I found that theme all the way through, as a matter of fact.
That's great. So even back then, people were saying, hey, you know what? If the government gets involved, it's going to be red tape and paperwork. We can get this done a good way if we do it all together.
Exactly. And I thought it was kind of interesting because you're taking a horse and carriage up that road. So now you need a turnaround.
Sure.
And a turnaround for a horse and carriage is quite large. I mean, you're not doing a 3-point turn in a car.
No K-turn with a horse.
No. So that was something, you put your mind back in 1873. And it was just the crude mountaintop. There was nothing there. It was just the rock face.
Oh, boy, that must have been something to go up there and take a look over then.
Yeah.
But now that we fast forward ahead, I mean, we go up there now, there's a nice rock wall there. There's that big bronze plaque. How did that all come about?
The property came up, the parcel came up for purchase. And again, Port Jervis wanted nothing to do with it. So again, the Elks kind of said, we'd like to purchase this for the community.
Wow.
So Dr. Henry Swartout got on the telephone and called all of his elk friends and said, what can you contribute?
This is great. Now, he calls his buddies in the Elks Lodge.
Exactly.
Says, guys, let's go. Pony up some money. How much money did they raise?
About $1,800 within a couple days.
And this was in the...
This was about 1914 to 1916.
Wow, and they raised that much money just amongst themselves.
Yes, just amongst themselves. And quite interestingly, too, I found that the Daughters of the American Revolution, they brought people into their homes and sold tickets and sold dinners.
They had a corned beef and cabbage dinner like we did a couple of weeks ago, I bet.
So here you are. Again, grassroots. People are inviting other people into their homes. They're paying for dinners, and then they're contributing all of that money toward this fund. And they alone contributed $325.
How about that?
So, and that's a considerable amount of money.
They raised $325 by having dinners at their houses and having people give them money.
Yes.
Man, my brother and I, we couldn't do that. I mean, I don't think anybody'd want microwave pizza. But anyways, so this is in the 19-teens, and they raise all this money. So the Elks Club, they purchased the property?
Yes. So now they wanted to improve the road. So they wanted to connect Reservoir Avenue with the berm road to go all across the top of the mountain.
Oh, wow.
So they managed to carve it out, literally carve it out, and it was a rather crude road, but nevertheless, the loop was complete.
How about that?
So, and then things would quiet down, and they really didn't have the funds to do what they wanted to do.
And then the next thing you know, the Depression hits.
Well, yes. But I found it very interesting that in the 1923, there was an essay contest. And they went to the high school students and said, how do you best see the use of the Elks Brox Park?
How about that?
And these kids came up with wonderful suggestions. And the prizes were $10.
Grand prize was $10 back then. Big bucks.
A newspaper subscription for a year and $5.
Oh, I'd go right for the 10 or the 5.
So, but their suggestions included a grand entrance. The one girl felt that you needed stone pillars so that when people went by, it was something that drew them in.
Wow.
And son of a gun, that's what we have today.
How about that, huh?
Yes, and of course, a theme that runs through right from the very beginning is they always wanted it to remain natural. And they always wanted natural trails. They wanted people to come up and hike. They wanted people to get out in the fresh air and enjoy the scenery. And this theme carries through today to your organization.
And see, we're not making this up. This is history. This is real.
Right.
How about that? So the essay contest takes place in the 20s.
Right.
Great ideas come out of it. Yes. Wow, that's something else.
And these kids even wanted a toboggan run.
Oh,
they
sure.
wanted a winter carnival. And I did find an old picture where there were 4 boys who had just skied down Mount William because they're standing there with their skis. So
I heard they started with 6, but 2 guys skied down Mount William. Those guys were crazy back then. Those were wooden skis. Oh, man.
but that would have been the era of my father, and I could see my
Wow.
father doing that.
So we're in the 20s, and it's still a natural, and it's a park.
Right, correct.
And then we fast forward because that's the Depression hits, right?
Right, and the Elks sold it back to the city because they simply couldn't do what they wanted to do. They simply didn't have the funds. So now Port Jervis takes it over, and also like you say, the Depression hit, and it was horrible for the area.
Sure.
And this was before President Roosevelt put in the work programs.
Right.
There were work programs already going on, which was something interesting. So they came in and, excuse me, let me go back a little bit.
Sure.
The fact that it was called Elks Brox Park. So it was the Elks because of the Elks Lodge. But in the 1924, Charles...
Now, it's called Elks Brox, not Bronx.
Not Bronx.
Because so many people think it was named after Jonas Bronx from the Bronx. No.
No, I was one of them. But it was there was a gentleman in town, and his name was Charles Brox.
Brox.
And he was a German immigrant who came and started a glass factory on Canal Street and Hamilton Street. And then he eventually ended up in West End with the Gillander Glass, who he eventually sold his manufacturing to.
Wow.
But he was a very community-minded man. He was very big in the Drew Methodist Church and constructing that church.
Didn't he donate the land to where the church was built?
Yes, and he bought the parsonage.
How about that?
So he was very community-minded, and there again, the grassroots kind of thing. So
he lived a ripe old age. He lived his late 80s?
Yes, and when he passed away, there was a Sarah Bell Thorne. In her will, she left the city $15,000 that park would be created. A park would be created, and it would be named for Charles Brox.
Wow.
So therefore, that's where we get the Elks Brox Park.
How about that?
I never knew that.
See that? There we go. So now that we have a face to the name of the park.
So now the city has an Elks Brox Park, and they have $15,000, and they're still getting private donations. And so they're now widening the Skyline Drive, which was named by James Sweeney in 1922. So even though it was just a squeaky little road over the mountain, it had this wonderful name. But now it was becoming a true road, something that the cars could go up and down easily. They built the rock wall that you mentioned with the big brass plaque and put up a flagpole. They created walking paths, and they wanted to create a little high point.
Oh, wow.
And this was a tourist attraction which was going to be hotter than the Tri-State Rock. So, and create a picnic area, and it was a huge success. And in July of 1932, Port Jervis celebrated its 25th anniversary of incorporating as a city, and they had a huge celebration to dedicate the park.
Oh, yeah. In fact, you have to pick up a copy of the Deer Park Diary because you have to read about that party, because those guys back then knew how to party, and they put on a big shindig up on top at Point Peter. And you got to read, especially right down there. Read that part. My favorite part right there. No doubt about it. But so the park has become exactly what it was supposed to become.
Exactly. It was always in the inception of the whole idea, and it's remained true. So now you're back to having these wonderful hiking trails and people taking care of the park. So it's more than 150 years worth of love for this
How
wonderful
about that?
wild.
Well, Lynn, we're going to continue to follow in the footsteps of all of these people before us. Here in the Outdoor Club, we've taken a great deal of pride in developing natural hiking trails where you can also mountain bike, but there's no blacktop on the trails. There'll never be anything like that. It's always going to be natural, and we're going to keep the heritage that has built this park alive.
That's wonderful.
Lynn Burns, co-historian for the town of Deer Park. Thank you so much for the Deer Park Diary. You can get copies at Town Hall in the town of Deer Park throughout the region, or you can go online. Tell everybody the website for the town historian.
Okay, it's www.1863schoolhouse.org.
How about that? And you can
watch us on Facebook. There's always something new on Facebook.
Lynn Burns, thanks so much for being a part of our show today. Will you come back and continue to teach us more about the history in the area?
Absolutely, anytime. I'd be delighted.
Well, I hope that some who have listened today can take away something new from our experiences today. And I want to thank you so much, Lynn.
Thank you, Tom.
All right. Lynn, have a great day. Lynn Burns, co-historian for the town of Deer Park, enlightening us with some history about the beauty that's right here in our backyards. And we'll be back right after these messages. Nexix. It's a different kind of logic puzzle. Can you connect the dots? Then Nexix is for you. Author Jeff Marchant, Outdoor Club member, has created a unique and interesting puzzle book meant to challenge your mind. It's called Nexix. It's available online at Amazon. That's Nexix, N-E-X-I-X.
Good morning. Joining me in the studio today is Jason Stahl from Westbrookville. Jason is an aspiring Eagle Scout. He has a project coming up, and he would love to tell us about it. Good morning, Jason. How are you?
Good.
Nice to have you in the studio today. Good to be here?
Yeah.
Happy to be here? Excited about your project?
Yes.
Okay, so Eagle Scout, what does that exactly mean? What's involved to get to that level?
Well, you have to get your ranks starting from Cub Scout, then you go to Tenderfoot in Boy Scouts, then second class, first class, Star, Life, and then you get your Eagle.
Wow. And how long does that take to get to where you're at?
I've been in Boy Scouts for 6 years.
6 years. Wow. Okay, so now we are at the spot where you are achieving or trying to achieve the Eagle Scout. And this is the highest level of achievement in the scouting realm, right?
Right.
Okay. So why we have you here today in the studio, we would like to have you explain to us, Jason, what it is you're choosing to do for your Eagle Scout project.
I have decided to make a kiosk. It's going to be double wide,
A double wide kiosk, okay?
and I'm going to need funding for it, and the Outdoor Club has offered to provide the funding for it.
Okay, so the Outdoor Club of Port Jervis is going to assist you with funding towards your kiosk project. And it's not just the single wide kiosks we have at the entryway, but this is going to be a double wide, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you're doing double the work. And the location of this kiosk is going to be where, Jason? Elks Brock's Park entrance? Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, Elks Brox Park entranceway. So how are you going to build this kiosk, and what's involved with that?
Well, I have 4 scouts in my troop, so I'm going to need their help and their friends and family. We're going to have to collect the materials and plan out how we're going to build it.
Okay, so it's a team effort. So you have a team of 4 and the parents and everyone assisting you to you achieving this goal of Eagle Scouts. So these scouts that are under you, are they happy to be supervised by you, Jason?
Yeah.
They are. Because I got a supervisor over there on the control, and, sometimes it's rough, but that's another story. Okay, so we're going to have you doing this project for the Outdoor Club of Port Jervis, and this kiosk will have your name on it and be built by you, correct?
Yeah.
So once you complete this kiosk, Jason, how long do you think this will take you anyways for this to get built? I'm just curious about that.
Maybe 2 days.
2 days? Oh, you're a Superman. 2 days to build a double-wide kiosk? Really? Oh, that's awesome. If you can do that in 2 days, I'm impressed. Because I don't even know what's involved with it. But I know it's quite a task, and you're going to do it in 2 days. Super. So listen, when you have this completed and it's done, what's the next step for you getting to the Eagle Scout level?
I have 4 more merit badges to complete.
4 more. Okay.
I have to get family life, personal management, citizenship in the world, and emergency preparedness.
Wow. So when a scout comes up to you and says, Jason, I really would like to be like you someday at the Eagle Scout level to become an Eagle Scout, what is your response to that young person that says that to you? Because I know you're a leader in that capacity. So how do you do that when a little guy comes up to you and says, I want to be like you, Jason?
There's a lot of work in becoming an Eagle Scout. You have to.
That's okay. It's okay. You know the work involved with becoming an Eagle Scout. So I would imagine when that little guy comes up to you and says, I want to be an Eagle Scout, you tell them you can be an Eagle Scout, right? Because as a leader, that's what you do, right? You lead?
Right.
Absolutely. I have no doubt that you are going to achieve this Eagle Scout classification. That's for sure, because you seem determined, and this is something that you really, really want. So are you excited about building the kiosk? I mean, what's going to be your approach? I mean, what tools are you going to use? Is it going to be mechanical, by hand? Are you going to use it's going to be like building Noah's Ark. What's it going to be like?
We're going to use drills. So
That's okay. I mean, all kinds. I would imagine saws, drills, nails, whatever it takes to put that excellent kiosk up there with your signature on it. And is there some type of recognition that goes with an Eagle Scout project as far as a plaque that's on the project or something like that?
Yeah, it would say built by Jason Stahl.
Wow. So we would have an exclusive kiosk double wide at the entranceway to Elks Brox Park with your name on it. That's something else. That's going to be quite an achievement for you. And, folks, when you're driving down Route 42 and you see the exit entrance, when you see the entrance to Elks Brox Park and you see Jason and his crew working on that kiosk, beep the horn, wave to him, because this young man is doing some great work there, volunteering to build this kiosk for the Outdoor Club of Port Jervis and the surrounding community so that we can inform the public on a kiosk about the park and the watershed. Because, Jason, I think one of the reasons you might have chosen the kiosk, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is because it's in an information structure.
Correct.
Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to confirm that because I met you with you previously, and I sensed that you like to give information. So a kiosk is one of the key ways to provide information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, folks, when this project is underway, the entrance to Elks Brox Park, what we want you to do is beep and wave to Jason and his helpers, because they're working hard to provide this kiosk for the park. And Jason, when you achieve that Eagle Scout badge, and recognition, I want to be there for you and congratulate you. You are indeed a community person to look up to. And I thank you for coming in the studio today, Jason. Thank you. And for your time to do this kiosk as well. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate your time. And you have a good time and fun. Remember, it's all about fun as well, right, Jason?
Right.
All right. So that's it. Jason Stahl from Westbrookville. Eagle Scout potential. He will achieve it. I know. I'm going to be there when he does. Thanks for the interview, Jason.
Thank you.
Megan, do you know that this Memorial Day we will be opening a pump track here in Port Jervis?
Yeah, I sure did. And this cannot happen without tax-deductible donations and contributions from people like you.
How can we help?
So visit our website at ocopj.org and click on Donations.
After a nice hike on the trails or a bike ride through the Watershed Park, nothing is more refreshing than a locally crafted beer and a bite to eat. Head over to the Fox and Hare, 46 Front Street in Port Jervis. The Fox and Hare is a small-town brewery and restaurant meant to celebrate great beer, savory food, and wonderful people. The tap room is a welcoming place for all walks of life, whether you're a fox, a hare, or someone that just likes the taste of good beer. Open Wednesday through Sunday. For handcrafted beer and food, it's the Fox and Hare. Give them a call. 845-672-0100. The Fox and Hare has been a proud supporter of the Outdoor Club of Port Jervis since they opened their doors.
If you are interested in becoming a member, contact me at 845-288-3165 or go to our website, ocopj.org, or my email, chip@ocopj.org. Thank you for joining us this week for the Weekly Trail Report. I'd like to thank our host, Tom Fagione, our special guests, and Robbie Torn, Director of Activities, and a special thanks to me, Chip Estenez, for being on the Trail Report. Remember, go out and enjoy the beauty that is in our backyard.
Hang on, Tom. We're heading down to the bar with you.
Hey, all right. See you next week, guys.